been a very good day for the side of Chelsea fans all over the world. Chelsea fans, hope you're really doing fine. 6 Chelsea, 1 Middlesbrough. Aggregate is 6-2, and Chelsea have been fired into the Carabao Cup finale, and they're waiting on whom they're going to play, and that tie is going to be played today. That is Liverpool playing away at Fulham. The first leg ended 2-1, I think, in favor of Liverpool, and Liverpool has to overturn that. If Liverpool happen not to win and they're knocked out by Fulham, then Fulham will face Chelsea. But I know Liverpool are just going to have to force themselves into the mode of winning that competition or that leg, the second leg that's going to be played at the Craven Cottage, to see themselves play into the final against Chelsea. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're already watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Kahendo Oliver, good morning my sister. How are you? Hope you're doing fine. And we're here to dissect this game of football of Chelsea. And this is what Chelsea really wanted. If I told you Pochettino, this is what you would have gone ahead to get in this game of football, getting yourself into the final, because it really gives you a little bit of relief. You know, imagine Chelsea being knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Middlesbrough. That would have been unacceptable, and no one would have gone ahead to give it a go that it was supposed to happen. And when you look at teams like Chelsea, with the budget they've gone ahead to incur, all they needed was to see themselves go into the final and maybe get a silverware this season, because Pochettino has been seated on what we call a hot plate, and they are trying to factor out results. But I've been one of those people that have gone ahead to say that when the moment Chelsea's cohesion comes into the best play, trust me, no team is going to stand into their way, because they're really having young talents, and this squad really has a lot of space to improve. They're improving game after game. Imagine when Ramel Lavia is back, Nkunku back to the fullest, you get, they'll obviously perform better. Their captain Reece James getting back to where they deserve to be. Chelsea will be a team that everyone wouldn't want to face. Now they're into the Carabao Cup final, and it's gonna be Wembley time towards the end of next month. That is March. I think that's when the finale is gonna be played, and I would like to see a finale between Chelsea and Liverpool. It will be the biggest advert for the Carabao Cup, and the sponsors of the Carabao will obviously like it that way, and I think Liverpool is gonna do justice for them to really get it to where it deserves to be. But it all started in a very good way for Chelsea. 15th minute, it was an own goal coming in from Johnny Hobson. Then 14 minutes later, Enzo Fernandez went ahead to double the lead for the side of Chelsea, and Axel Disasi, having been released by Raheem Sterling, found himself in a better position to strike that goal into the back of the net, and Disasi made it 3-0 for the side of Chelsea. And at halftime, before halftime, Carl Palmer went ahead to make it 4 in the 42nd minute and went ahead to do the needful for that side. 77th minute, he made it 5, and then Noni Madueke came off the bench and made it 6. You know, a team like Chelsea deserves a result like this. And if at all you never really got to know how they went ahead to line up, Chelsea came up with the following 11, and I think you are gonna really love it and enjoy it in here. This is the 11 that Chelsea went ahead to come up with to face the side of Middlesbrough, the Michael Carrick side that came in through into this fixture when they're really 3 points ahead of Chelsea. Petrovic was in goal. Disasi played as a right back. Chilwell left back. Thiago Silva and Colwell played in the central defense. Moise Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez played in the double pivot. Carl Palmer was played into the central attacking midfield. Raheem Sterling was played as a right attacking midfielder. Mokalo Modric left attacking midfielder, and Broja went ahead to lead the line. And Broja went ahead to lead the line for the side of Chelsea. So when Broja went ahead to lead the line for the side of Chelsea, they really played very well, and that team is really very balanced. And one of the most important positions is getting this boy Palmer playing into the central attacking midfield. I think it shows you his versatility at the side of Chelsea, that no player at Chelsea can play in this position better than him. And I would love to see him being played here a lot. His composure is out of this world, and today he's really one of those players that we're going to talk about because of what has gone ahead to do. And I think let's obviously kickstart on to talking about this young lad who has gone ahead to have 20 goal contribution this season. He's having 13 goals in all competitions and 7 assists. That is Carl Palmer, and he is not stopping to obviously thrive. And this is why I told you that this guy would have been a very huge part of City's development and City's season, but he was not given guarantee by the manager of by the manager of Manchester City, that he's gonna be here at Manchester City and get ample playing time. When you look at him play, he shows you that he's really a better player than very many players in there for you. And it reminds me, I was in a certain TikTok live and I told someone that Carl Palmer is a classy player. He has class. You look at him, people think that class comes, some players are born with class, as some players are born with talent, Class is really special, and he's just gonna become a world-class player if at all he's consistent. And trust me, when you look at the team of Chelsea, he might be the man to lead it to where they want to be. That is it. And if he's given that mantle, he's going to lead. He's still young, but when you look at how he's really getting in numbers, and no player at Chelsea has gone ahead to get in numbers like this guy is really having. And it shows you that he has hit a double figure of goal contributions, and he's going to continue going far and far and far and far. And trust me, he now has a Champions League, he now has a Carabao final to play. You never know what's going to do in there for you. He has an FA Cup to play. That is this guy, Carl Palmer. And in the Premier League, he still has, I think, 18 games, 17 games to play for his side. And if he continues playing like that, trust me, nothing is going to stop him. And they are really hosting Aston Villa on Friday, where we are going to see whether they keep themselves into the contention to become one of the best teams to ever compete for the league in there for you. So it is really good for Carl Palmer. For me, I think is the highlight of the day. The likes of Disas is going to hit to score. Noni Madueke, his consistency, I think he now has like 5 goals ever since he returned from where he was, insinuating that they were not injuries, right? He was not injured, and the manager benched him because he was not obviously doing exactly what he wanted. He got him out of the team until when he refocused and he's back into the team and performing very well. But for me, Carl Palmer is the hugest highlight of the game. And for Chelsea, they're into the final and they're waiting for Liverpool. I think Liverpool is going to play them in that final. So for Pochettino, it obviously helps you buy more time at the side of Chelsea, especially if at all you get yourself into that moment of lifting a trophy. If you lift a trophy for Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, first and foremost, that would have gone ahead to guarantee you a spot, I think, into the UEFA, is it Conference League or UEFA Europa League, one of those. So they just have to continue doing right things. And the more they continue doing these things right, no one is going to stop Pochettino from obviously becoming what he does. So Erik ten Hag, you also remember when he's playing for the club of Man United, when he was managing Man United in his first season, he won this and played in an FA Cup finale. So it might be another way to keep Chelsea around. And as I told you, I think I brought you a story here that Chelsea are really planning for their next season when they're in Europe. And when they win the Carabao Cup, that will be the first signal that they are going to be in Europe. And if at all they win the FA Cup, they'll also be in Europe. And I think if they continue playing well and consistency opens in, all plays in, they can obviously make it to the top 7. And when you are in the top 7, you can play into Europe, because it looks like teams are ready to take in more and more and more players. More and more teams from the Premier League, because the Premier League has gone ahead to become more and more and more competitive, and by so doing they are really having the best of the best. So guys, smash the like button, comment and share. For those watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload on a daily. What a relief for the man himself, that is Pochettino, and it looks like he's on the verge of obviously getting into very many winning games. Remember, I think he last lost to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and after that he beat Crystal Palace by 2-1. He beat Luton Town by 3-2. He beat Preston North End by 4-0. He lost to Middlesbrough and has gone ahead to obviously beat them now 6. And he beat Fulham into the Premier League, right? 1-0. That is Chelsea for you. And they are continuing to obviously put their spell into action. Then, what are their next fixtures as Chelsea? Chelsea are going to play Aston Villa next Friday. Sorry, this Friday on the 26th. That is the FA Cup. Then Liverpool is going to host them over the weekend. That is on the 31st. Sorry, mid next week, Wednesday. They are going to play Liverpool away. And it's going to be a very huge test for the man himself, that is Pochettino, playing away. Then they'll host Wolverhampton Wanderers on the 4th of February. Then they'll host Crystal Palace on the 12th of February. And Man City will host them on the 17th of February. Then they'll host Tottenham Hotspur in the London Derby, 23rd of February. And that's going to end their games in February. Meaning that if at all they happen to really play part into the FA Cup and go through and knock out Aston Villa, they'll have a game to play towards the end of February, and that will mark the end of everything as it comes into play. So that is Chelsea for you. They've gone ahead to win by 6-1, comfortably won this game of football, buried it, and they're now celebrating and very celebrant about their result. And what a goal and what a day for them to be where they are right now. And I think Chelsea fans are really jubilant. Now let's go to the African Cup of Nations. And today we really had some good games. And the first games that got played saw Senegal and Cameroon go through, as Senegal beat Guinea by 2-0, and they went ahead to get maximum points in their group. Cameroon beat Gambia by 3-2. It was really that one game of football that they thought it was done, because Toto Ekambi gave Cameroon the lead in the 56th minute. Then Abigail, hear me out, Abi Jalov went ahead to get a lead all over the game in the 72nd minute. Then Ebrima Koli went ahead to give Gambia a lead, and it was 2-2. It was 2-1 in favor of Gambia, and at that juncture, Cameroon were going to be out. Then James Gomez went ahead to concede an own goal and made it 2-2, and Cameroon leveled up the game, and Christopher Waugh came off the bench and obviously made it 3-2, and that was how Cameroon went ahead to obviously get themselves into the lead. But for Senegal, they went ahead to obviously get themselves into the better positions, and they are topping the table, and they are through with Cameroon. Guinea had 4 points and Gambia had 0 points. So it shows you that however much Cameroon went ahead to go through, but they still have a lot of work to do to really prove to people that they can obviously do the needful. Now, a shocker has happened later, just minutes back. Angola has beaten Burkina Faso by 2-0, and Algeria has been knocked out of the African Cup of Nations, having lost to Mauritania by 1-0. Riyad Mahrez is out. Algeria came into this tournament as a favorite, but you remember when I was really listing the favorites, I told you that my top favorites are Morocco. I talked about Senegal. I talked about Nigeria. I talked about the hosts, Ivory Coast. They're still waiting for other teams to play, because there are 4 other slots that are really waiting to see to it that this team really gets one. But it looks like they're getting one. You know, I talked about Egypt. Algeria was part of the teams I talked about, but I never really gave it a lot of go. But my 2 teams to win this trophy are either Senegal or Morocco. Although Morocco is also struggling, but I think against DRC, every team could struggle, because DRC has good, talented players who really have a lot to fight for. You know, when a team has players who really want to go to the first 5 top tier leagues of Europe, and it's versing a team that has players that have already gone ahead to make it there, you anticipate that the hunger is going to be really different. But for Algeria, I think this manager needs to be sacked. I think even last African Cup of Nations, they never got out of the group stages, right? Then they never qualified for the World Cup in Qatar. What does that mean? The manager is really one of those that is really the problem, because when you look at the side of Algeria, they are having some of the best players on the continent. You get Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, those 3 teams, and Senegal, right? Those 4 teams have the best players when it comes to where they play at. Quality is with them, and when you look at the way they've gone ahead to come into the tournaments, they come in as favorites. So when you look at the quality of the side of Algeria, you ask yourself, what is really wrong? And when you look at teams like Morocco, Senegal, that have gone ahead to get it right, they've gone ahead to get in coaches that meet the levels of their quality. For Senegal, it's Sissi all the way. You get? It's Sissi all the way. And they're 100% okay with him. And they're here to defend it. Look at how they really merge the home-based talent with the foreign talent. They are doing it really well, and they are one of those teams that you have to look at, as a draw is going to be held, I think, on Thursday, because today, which is a Wednesday, we are going to see the last group stage games, and I think teams will rest Thursday, Friday, and on Saturday we'll see the the round of 16 games coming into play. Those are going to be other 8 fixtures to be into play to see who is going to go into the quarterfinals. And a lot has been shown today by Algeria, but they couldn't obviously match the levels of really burying that ball in the back of the net. Having gone ahead to concede a goal in the 37th minute, Algeria have seen themselves lose to a side that had never gone ahead to score a goal, that has never gone ahead to get 30 points into the African Cup of Nations. Mauritania has been qualifying for 3 consecutive times, and this time round they've gone ahead to get what they wanted. 17 shots by Mauritania, and Algeria had 16. 7 shots on target by Mauritania, and I tell you what, if they were composed a little bit more, they would have gone ahead to put like 4 goals past the side of Algeria. Algeria had 6 shots on target, 25% ball possession by Mauritania. Algeria had 75% ball possession, 180 passes completed by Mauritania. Algeria completed 548, 59% passing accuracy by Mauritania. Algeria had 84% passing accuracy. 3 yellow cards to Mauritania and 3 yellow cards to Algeria. 18 fouls by Algeria and 15 to Algeria. 0 red cards to both sides, 2 offsides to both sides, 5 corners to Mauritania and 6 corners to the side of Algeria. And that is how the table really ended, and Algeria have no chance to even go into the draw to compete for the 4th side, because they now have 2 points. They are at the bottom. They are seated at the bottom of the table. And there comes in Mauritania with 3 points, and they are gonna really have a chance to play into the round of 16, provided other teams don't really put in better results. But when you look at them and Cote d'Ivoire, I think Cote d'Ivoire has a negative. They conceded 4. They have like a negative 4, and that gives them a very huge chance to obviously get to where they deserve to be. But when you look at Mauritania, I was so much excited when they obviously put in that shift, because I thought that they deserved to be the leaders of this game. They had better chances. Algeria looked like they could give out the ball sloppily, and I liked the way that their manager of Mauritania really reacted in the last 10 minutes of the game. Instead of bringing in defenders, do you know what he did? He went in for 3 forwards. He brought in 3 forwards because he knew to it that Algeria are gonna really attack a lot, and they will leave open spaces. And the tactic had gone ahead to work out very well if at all these players went ahead to kill off those chances, but they never went ahead to kill off those chances, and it resulted into a very bad result. But that is it for Algeria. They're out, and they have no one to blame. Everything was at their play, but they couldn't really defend well and they couldn't finish chances. Now, how do you expect to come in through and really play very well and go through if at all you don't really kill off your chances? That is the worst of it all. Then tomorrow or today, depending on where you're watching us from, Namibia is hosting Mali at 20 hours and South Africa is hosting Tunisia at 20 hours. And South Africa, I think, just need a draw to go through. That is it. Then we are having Zambia, Morocco later today, and Tanzania is going to be taking on DR Congo. DR Congo need 3 points from Tanzania, and I think Zambia are really having 1 point in this group, and they need to really keep going. So the round of 16 starts. The round of 16 starts onto the 27th, and obviously we'll be waiting to see which teams are being drawn onto who as we really phase out into the round of 16 and then quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals that will be played on the 11th, I think, of this month. I'm having Kahendo Oliver Aradi. I'm an Arsenal fan, but being trusted this team when Arteta considers signing a midfielder in this window. Without that, I see no chance for Arsenal winning something. Arsenal can win something if at all they see to it that Arteta starts to drop Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. That is it. I would fancy to see Saka on the bench and Reece Nelson being played as a right forward, Trossard left forward, with Jesus leading the line. These players need to know that they don't have no positions, hinged for them at the side of Arsenal. They need to fight a lot to get to where they deserve to be. So that is exactly what these players are supposed to be doing at the side of Arsenal, and that is it. My man of the match for the game of Chelsea, obviously, is Carl Palmer, and he's really one of those that is going to get, I think, in 1 assist and 2 goals. What a better way to fly into the final and take your team there. Rokan David remains my name. May the living to God bless you abundantly. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And don't go anywhere. This is where we bring you your news, and continue to subscribe. It has been all about this side of the Carabao Cup. Chelsea fired into the final. Let's wait and see how Liverpool performs today against Fulham. Whether they will join them or not, I'll be here to let you know about that. And lastly, Algeria knocked out of the African Cup of Nations by Mauritania, a side that had never gone ahead to win a game in the African Cup of Nations, amidst them qualifying for the 3 previous consecutive campaigns. We cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Rokan David is my name. I sign out. See you later. Kahendo Oliver, thank you for being part of this.